Great to score a goal back here at home and to get the 3 points. I think it was a well-deserved win. And then at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you win, just about the 3 points. And it was a bit going back and forth in the second half. But yeah, obviously we're very happy to get the win.
He's been excellent since he's come here. We just haven't seen enough of him, and he's working his way back to full fitness. But he was in the right place at the right time. Callum did well, and yeah, great to see those two combine. In the games that he has played, he's shown he's a difference maker, and I thought he did very well when he came on. The goal aside, I thought he was bright, he was lively, he gave us a different dimension.
I'm proud of my players from the first moment. They showed and they demonstrate the quality they have, and how we came here again to match the Newcastle in a fantastic environment to play football. I have to say. One bad decision from the referee and the VAR made a huge impact in the game. For me, it's clear. Not the second penalty. Second one is clear penalty, but the first one is penalty, and has to be red card. The player pull Andrés is clear, and has to be red card in that moment, and the game will be completely different.
Manchester United's win. Everyone's saying they're in the title race now. You move level on points with them. That means you're in the title race.
I haven't even seen anything other than what we've done today. We're just pleased to win.
Well avoided, Eddie. It was tough going for Newcastle today. Fulham gave them a game.
They did.
They played really well, Fulham, and made it difficult. I thought it was always going to be difficult after what happened in midweek and on the high that they were in. The atmosphere was amazing. And
what happened midweek?
But then you're sort of back to reality today. Even the crowd were a little bit quieter than they normally were. But we've spoken about Almiron, we've spoken about Joe Linton and Shearer and the improvement that Eddie Howe has made in these players. But I think someone who's gone under the radar, perhaps unfairly, is Sean Longstaff. His performance today and a lot of this season has been superb. I thought he controlled a lot of it today. He does this very well. If he could just work on his finishing a little bit, that's a fantastic challenge. But he gets into so many good positions, then it would be a different story. Don't have to do his bit for the team and winning the ball back. But that's the good thing that I like about him, is a lot of the time he actually plays the ball forward. His first thought is, and it makes the job for a forward easier. But what he does here is he actually wins the ball back. Simple little header, but it then puts Newcastle and Callum Wilson on the front foot. They then get an opportunity from that. His role changed in the second half because Bruno went off. He moved from the right side into the centre, and he did a really good job. And I mentioned about forward passing. That's what he did really well in terms of keeping the ball and really pinging it into forward players. So you go from there straight away. You're in. You broke that midfield line and you're into the back four. Similar thing again. And as I said, for a forward, it makes your job easier when you've got someone who's prepared to do that, a midfielder who can do that. And this is an unbelievable cross late into the game, and that sort of wins it. Good ball. Callum Wilson keeps it alive, and Isak on in the second half gets his goal. What a really good performance. But it'll be no surprise to the Newcastle fans, because they see that. They see his energy, they see his determination, and that's a regular. In most games, that's what he does, and he runs a lot more than anyone else. The grass that he covers is incredible.
Do you both think the balance that he brings to Newcastle's midfield is maybe either underrated or underappreciated? Because they're always linked with a lot of players. They'll be linked with a lot of midfielders, and the presumption would be if a midfielder came in, he might be the one of the three who would lose his place.
Well, you might find midfielders who have a bit more ability and creativity, maybe goals, but you'll do well finding one who's got that and his work ethic. And that's the balance Newcastle have to find moving forward, because what they've got at the moment, and I'll see them more than me, but they've got an 11 where they carry no one. Yeah. Every one of them grafts. That's why they go to Arsenal and get a result, because the wide men are tracking back, they're doing the defensive work. So it's a delicate balance of finding better who have that same work ethic.
The one thing I mentioned, the one thing he can improve on is his finishing. If he does that, he'd be an unbelievable midfield player.
But take him out of that midfield and the balance changes.
Well, that's what we're saying? Yeah, that's what they're going to have to work out, because yes, Newcastle need a little bit more creativity, I think, in there, but also they can't lose that work ethic, because that's got them to where they are at the minute.
Let's look at the two penalty shouts, which happened within 30 seconds of each other. Eddie Howe afterwards said the first penalty shout that Fulham had, he thought was a penalty, but not the second one, and you would agree?
Well, I think most people would agree who watch a lot of football and understand football. I mean, it's it's a penalty. Whether he goes down a little bit is questionable. But
Marco Silva thought it would be a red, but Longstaff was covering. Yes.
No, I don't think he was covering in time. I think if he'd give a pen, he'd have had to give a red.
Yeah.
And I think that should have been the decision. But they thought they got away with it. This is the best angle now. There's the pullback. It's enough when you see it move forward to move his body sideways. So of course he's going to go over. It's a penalty and a sending off.
So they didn't get that one, but they did get this one.
Well, this wasn't a penalty, and they gave it in Mike Dean. Told him to go over and have a look.
You can see the referee, you can see him looking at the screen.
Yeah.
The one view he didn't get, actually turns away. The one view he didn't get, if he had stayed, would have been this one, that one there, which clearly shows it's not a penalty. He actually stands on Trippier.
Yeah.
So he didn't. He turned away from the VAR screen when that was played in.
On that one there, and you can see clearly. Look at that.
This angle, we don't think he saw. It didn't come up on his VAR screen, and that is the one that clearly shows.
And I think Howard Webb's had a really good start. And he did say about a high bar. I mean, Mike Dean sat up there, sat in the office looking at that. And that's meant to be an unbelievable error and howler from the referee that Mike Dean says, go to the screen because you've made such a huge error. No chance. The first one was a penalty. Yeah, the pullback, I agree with you, absolutely. That should have been a penalty. There's no way that should have been a penalty.
But then also, when he still told him to go over and look at the screen, why hasn't he said to him, hold on, we've got different angles here, why are you turning away?
Yeah.
Because when you've got different angles to see, but the first one is the problem. Why is that? Look, they got away with it a little bit with that decision, Newcastle, but they capitalised. And overall, the 90 minutes, they probably edged it.
Alexander Mitrovic at the moment from the penalty spot is, well, I don't mean this as a pun, but it's very hit and miss.
Well, 3 in 6 this season means to me the manager now has to make a decision. I understand he wanted to take the once a day. He's back at his old team. He's the main man. He's the goal scorer. He slips, this happens. Well, I say this happens, I've never seen it before, but he thinks he scored and it gets disallowed. I felt for him a bit. But I think now, even the other players will be saying to the manager, look, I had it once upon a time. Michael Owen was the penalty taker under Houllier, and I think he'd missed 3 in 6 before, and Houllier, loving Michael like he did, said to him, you can still have them. We were away at Old Trafford and we got a penalty and Michael decided not to take it, to give it to me, thankfully.
Right.
Did well getting himself in there.
And what did you do?
What do you think happened?
Why do you think he brought it up?